Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ready.
And hit record button. And we are live.
Good evening. Welcome to the Heritage Commission meeting of June 13th, 2023. We begin by saying pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If we can have the members introduce themselves, starting with
Carl Frank.
Stephen Calloway.
Marion Colby.
Gail Berenger.
And we're missing Steve tonight.
And our other member is the Selectmen's representative, Steve Gannon. Maybe he's running late. Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting that were sent to us by Matthew Sullivan?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any comments or any additions or deletions?
No, I thought they
No.
were very
They
good.
were fine? Okay, does somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, 4-0-0. And then, are there any, do any of the members want to add or delete anything from the agenda?
Can't think of anything.
Okay. We could talk about the finalization of the metal detecting policy. I was hoping Steve Gannon would be here as the selectman's rep because it was discussed at length at last night's selectmen's meeting. And my understanding at this point is that they haven't quite finalized the policy yet, but that individual departments will have some input into their own sites, like recreation will be able to determine what sites they want people to be able to detect on. And I think their main thing is that they don't want people detecting on actual playing fields or places with sprinkler systems.
That makes sense.
Jason Brennan spoke and, from the Conservation Commission, and one of his problems is that a lot of the historical sites in town, while they belong to the town, of course, but the Conservation Commission is in charge of administering the sites. And it was suggested that for the historical sites in town that the approval be given by the Heritage Commission. And so we may have to, team up with Conservation on that. So we'll get I think they'll finalize it probably within the next several weeks.
Okay.
And the list, if people want to see the list of what's considered to be historical, if you look on the site for the Planning Commission, there's under the town master plan, chapter 7 of historic resources, they're listed in that section, and those are the sites that we would be, the ones that are owned by the town and are on that list would be the ones that would be referred to the Heritage Commission for approvals.
And it includes Native American sites, correct?
Yes, that is on the list as well. Now, some of those sites are owned privately though.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's up in the air about how they're gonna handle that.
Administer that.
Right, so that was another thing that was brought up at the meeting. Any questions or any other comments about the metal detecting?
I think you captured it. I
Okay.
watched the meeting.
The other thing that was brought up, but it isn't in the policy, was that a lot of damage is not done by actually doing the metal detecting, but by digging for
Right.
bottles and digging for pottery and things like that.
Right.
And that is not addressed in the policy and maybe would require an addendum or, maybe a separate kind of addressed in a separate manner. But we'll revisit that when the selectmen finalize it.
Okay.
I don't see any of the members of the public present, so I don't think we'll have to have public input tonight. I have not been made aware of any permit applications for upcoming demolition, nor have I heard anything in town about any kind of projects that are gonna require demolition, so I don't think we have any business under that line item. Does anybody else have any other new business they want to discuss?
The only email I saw was from Jeff. Was he able to get into the old town hall? He had to do something.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He did get into the old town hall.
I thought it was
Yeah.
funny, he referred to it as the Heritage Building.
I know.
I saw
Oh.
that first email, I didn't know
I
what he was
know.
talking about, like,
Yeah.
like we have our own secret
So
lair or
he
something.
sent an email to Carl because he thought the Heritage
He
Commission
thought he had a key to the
controlled that
building.
building.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But people do get us sort of confused.
They do,
And-
it's understandable.
Right, yeah,
Um,
that's a
It
good
is.
name for it.
Mhm.
Heritage
Building.
Building. It is interesting though, but as we've explained in the past, the Historical Society is a private social organization, but we do have use of the Old Town Hall as a museum. And the Heritage Commission has a different function, although definitely has crossover in some areas. Does anybody else have anything to bring up?
No?
Or
Can't think of anything.
not having any other new business, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move that we adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Okay, the meeting's adjourned.
all right.
6 minutes.
We're done.
Thank you.
Were we live, or was that just a